quarantine, we thought it would be fun to learn how to build a computer. So that's what we did. Depending on your budget, you can pick out different parts for your system. This is what we put together. It's a great system for Fortnite and VR. We didn't do this alone. We learned a lot from these two channels. So if you want to build your own computer, you should really check them out for all the details. And thanks to my sister for shooting the video. In this video, we documented our build, and it turned out great. So let's see what happened. Okay, first grab your CPU, but don't touch the pins or the top. So just grab it lightly by the sides. You're gonna wanna just take it by the sides and flip it over. So you see, there's a gold corner in the corner of your CPU. You want that to match up with the little corner, the opposite of, you want to flip this piece up, and on the opposite side of this little metal thing, there will be a corner. You want to take the metal side, the metal thing, remember, do not touch the little metal prongs or the top, and you want to point that gold corner, and you want to put it very lightly. You want to put the gold corner facing towards the this other opposite side. And have it click right in. Okay, so then pull down this little metal lever to lock in the CPU. You're going to want to push it to the side just to get it out of this way and lock it in correct. The CPU we're installing right now is an AMD Ryzen 5 3600X. Okay, and by the way, if you were wondering, the motherboard that we are installing today is an ASUS X570 Plus. Okay, so now we're going to remove the existing brackets because we're going to be installing new brackets. These brackets came with this motherboard, so we're gonna take them out because we're gonna be installing a water cooler. Since we're using an AMD CPU chip, we can keep the same backplate. So now all we have to do is screw in these little standoffs here. So how you're going to want to do that is you're going to want to take this fat end and put it up to the little hole and just screw it in. Okay, now we're going to be installing the RAM. I'm going to be installing two 8GB sticks of RAM. One thing you're going to notice on here is that one side of the RAM, there's a little gap in the middle. And on one side of the gap, it's longer than the other side of the gap. So when we go over to the area where the RAM slots are, there's going to be a gray and black, or it could be different. You might need to check your little manual for the motherboard to see which one is the one you should be using. But this is what I'm going to be using. So you're going to have to line up your little slot on with this. There's a little whole thing. I forgot. It's just a little stick in here. And you're going to line that up and put it in. Well, first you're going to have to pull this thing back. You have to pull this black thing back. Or in my case, the gray ones. But I've already pulled them back. So now you just want to push it in, wiggle it a little bit, and then push down on both sides with an even pressure and just push down. And then you'll get that little click. It's a nice little click. So then you have that piece in. Then do the same with the other side. And then this little boot thing comes up. The little boot thing kicks in. And then you have your RAM installed. Okay, so summary of what we've done. We've installed the CPU, we've installed the standoffs, what's for the water cooler, and then we have installed the RAM. Okay, next we're going to prepare the case. Today, the case we'll be using is the NZXT H5 10i. And just to get the case prepared, we're going to take off the front and the back of this case. To take off the front, there's a screw on the side, and we're just gonna unscrew that real quick. I think I can just do it with my fingers. It's not a very hard screw. So once we pop that baby out, we can just put that to the side for now. And put your hand like here, I'd say, to catch the glass, because it's a little bit hard to pull off. It might seem like it's stuck or there's more screws to it. There's not. It's just this top corner thing. So then pull it, and it's just gonna pop out. And I'm just going to take that off to the side. And for the back, there's going to be 2 screws. So I'm going to take off one. Yeah, once you screw it, you can just take it off with your fingers. These are not very hard to unscrew. Yeah, and in a second, you don't have to just keep unscrewing forever. It's off, but it just doesn't. The little screw just doesn't come off. So just unscrew for a second, and then it just comes off. So there. I'm just gonna put that off to the side again. Then inside, we're just gonna want to take out some of the packing, the things that come with this. This is some wires for later. Next, we'll be installing the I/O shield. This came with the motherboard. It comes with your motherboard, and you just need to take it out of the packing. It looks like this, and you want to have the 3 circles at the bottom, and of course the words facing upright. And then put it in here. Oopsie. Whoa. 1 minute. It's kind of hard to do, so you might need a parent or some friend to help you put this part in. But it'll make a small clicking sound once it goes in. So now we're going to want to flip the computer, the case, onto its backside, and so we can put the stuff in. Let's go. Okay. Okay, now grab the little case that came inside the little box that came inside the case, and open that thing up. And then inside there will be, I think, 2 packages. There will be 2 packages of some zip ties, some screws. There'll be some zip ties and some screws, and these will be used in a second to screw the motherboard into the case. Okay, so on the inside of the case, there is about 9 posts, and we have to line those up with the motherboard, where when there's holes on the motherboard, and we have to line those holes up with the posts. So in this step, we're going to grab some screws. I think they come with them. They come in the NZXT box this box that we undid. They are the 632 screw flat. And so grab one of those, and we are going to put one in every one of these except this one, because this one is the center one and it just doesn't have a screw. So just put one in all of the rest. 3, 2, 1. Okay, one last one, and then the motherboard will be secured to the case. There, I think we got it. And there. Okay, now for the hard drive. We are going to be using a 2 terabyte hard drive, and let's start. So on the side of your case, right here, on the outside, there's going to be 4 screws. We're going to unscrew these. I would say you should hold this because we're going to unscrew these things, and this little cage is going to come out. Here. So then you pull it out. You put the box like this. I'm going to put this off to the side. I don't think I can actually use this again. And you take your drive and put this side, this side on the outside. Should probably not be touching all this. And slide this in with these 3 holes on the top. Slide that in. Put it up to the top. Put these holes. Line these holes up. Take a screw. Take one of these screws. You can use the same screws as you did for the last time. For what we did just a second ago. You can use those same screws. You'll probably have more of them. Like in the NZXT package we found in there was more. So I think those screw them in. And don't reuse the old one, the ones that just came out. Just grab more from the package. They still work. There's more, so that you can just put them in. Okay, so just line up the tops and screw these in. Alright, actually, I'm going to check this one again. Yep, that's all screwed in. Grab one last one from the top. Put it in. Whoop. Take this, stick it in, and then spin. And then there. Okay, just remember, do not use the ones you pulled out from in here. They're not the same type of screw. And when we have these all screwed in, just flip it over, and we're going to want to do the same thing on the other side. So push this in, line it up. Squeeze it. Rubbish. There. And plaster it. Then, now that you've installed the hard drive into your little cage here, put it right in the case and reinstall it. Last room. Okay, at that last screw, now it is the cage is totally in. Okay, now we're going to install the SSD drive. I'm using a 500 gigabyte Barracuda SSD drive, and we're going to start over here. So first we're going to need to take off this heatsink. I'm just going to unscrew this thing, and I'm going to take this out. Okay, just gonna pull it out. Now I'm gonna unscrew the other one. Oh. Okay, so I'm gonna unscrew. Oopsie, I'm dropping things all over the place. Okay, so now we take this off, put this over to the side. Then we're going to grab one of these. This is just a thing to keep it up. So now I'm going to put it in on this third one right here. I'm going to have to screw this in. This is going to make the next step a little easier, if I'm able to get this in. There we go. So I'm going to screw that in. And now I'm going to take the SSD drive, and I'm going to, there's a little lump there, and I'm going to put it up to that, and as I'm going down, I'm going to push in. And it's going to make that clicking sound. Then, I'm going to take one of these. Oopsie, it's going up. This is why we need one of these. So I'm going to take one of these screws. Sorry, it's kind of hard to see. I'm going to use one of these screws, and I'm going to use a different screwdriver. Whatever, never mind. I'm just going to use this one. So I'm going to take this. This is a very small screw, so it might actually take you a minute. If you have big hands, you might actually not even use a screwdriver. And, okay, let's try this. Okay, after installing the SSD, then take the heatsink from earlier and flip it over. You'll see this blue line, and the blue line, it's a blue sticker pad thing. And you just pull this off, and I'm just going to throw this in the trash. Okay, then you want to spin it over. I still have the screws in here, but it doesn't matter if you took them off. Then you don't want to stick it on. You want to screw them back in, but you have to screw them back. So pull out your microscopic screwdriver, put it up to it, and you have to try to match up. You have to try to match up these holes. So then once you get one, just push it in, spin it. Try not to touch it as much as I am right now. Then put that right in there. Then on the other side, you want to do the same, but on the other side. I think that's right. Let's see. It's hard to check. Okay, let me check. Okay, that actually didn't take very long, but it might take you a few minutes to get that in. So then just tighten these up. Spin, spin, spin. You want to have these pretty tight, just like the rest of these things. Spin. There. The other side, same deal. screwed in, then you've successfully screwed in your SSD. Okay, now we're going to install the power supply. This is a 550 watt power supply, and we've hooked up over here. We've hooked up the display, the motherboard, and the hard drive. So now we're just going to install this thing. So we have to bring this over and put it in the box side, like inside, sideways, where the cables are back there. Remove these cables, and I'm going to put this in here. So now we need to grab our screws. And then we need to pick this off. Oop. Okay, got this first screw in there, and now we need to do 4 more. Okay, here's another one. Third one is almost complete. And last screw. Shoot. Screwed something up. For some reason, instead of having it in the 4-corner shape, the battery I'm using, the charger thing, has a another one right here that I have to put it in here. In. Okay. And that is about done. Yeah, it's done. Okay, now we're gonna do some wiring. There's this little bag of wires that come with the case, and we're going to hook them up. Now to the cables. So most cases come with a lot of the wiring already done for you. Like in this case, we have the LED box that has 2 of the fans installed, the one on the top and the sides, and so now we can move on to the bottom wires. So these are the ones we're going to deal with a little later. These are from the power supply, and they're going to plug into the motherboard and a few other things, like the video card and stuff. Then this, it powers the case lights, like on the top, here and here. Then the USB 2, the USB 3, and then the audio. Okay, so we fed the cables through the back of the case, and now we're going to connect them to where they go on the motherboard. You might actually want to look at your motherboard manual before doing this, because most motherboards look different in ways, and I'm just going to do them on how my motherboard is. So I'm going to get my USB 3. Okay, got that one in. So next, USB. This is the 2.0, and one thing you have to look at on these cables is some of them have like a missing spot or whatever. There could be like 4 on one side and 5 on the other. So you want to match that up where there's one missing prong. So in my case, that would be going like this. Stick that thing in. Okay, got that one in. And the HD audio. So the HD audio on my motherboard is going to be over here. And there's going to be one missing slot on the top. And there's one missing slot on the top here too. Nope, push that in. I think that's good. I think that's good. These are the case lights. And you're gonna have to look at your manual to find out where these go, because there's like 9 prongs on each side, or 7 prongs on each side, and you have to do it very exactly here. Okay, so now we're gonna do one of the ones on mine, which is the HDD LED, where it's the hard drive LED. It's just gonna show when it's spinning. So on this thing, the camera's probably not even gonna be able to see it, but there's a little arrow, and this arrow is going to be the positive. So in the motherboard manual, it's gonna show a couple of these different things, but you're gonna have to look for, on the back of it, it says HDD LED. So you're gonna have to look at that, look for that, find the positive one, and see which one does that go on. So in my case, it's going to be the very bottom corner here. The very bottom corner. It's very hard because they're very small and there's a lot of things getting in my way. Okay, I got that one done. Am I supposed to get that wrong? Okay, I'm gonna do that one first. This is plus. Plus goes on the left. Now that we've connected all of the wires, it is time to move on to the connector cables. But if you want to make your case neater, you can push these wires back behind the case just to get them out of your way for now. First, take your 24-pin connector. This is the connector that's going to connect the power supply to the motherboard, and you want to stick this end back behind the case. And now you want to line up this clip to this side because there's a little lump here. And you're going to want to put it up to there. Don't want to have that backwards. And click it in. There you go. Oh, nope. Didn't click it in. Now take this one, and you're gonna want to put. Oh. Oh wow. Okay. There we go. It's not there. Stupid sound. Okay, then grab your data cable from the hard drive, and you're going to want to stick it through this middle part, and let this other end, grab the other end with your hand, and just start to pull. Because we're going to want to stick the end of this one into the same port. So we're going to have to pull, and then we're going to want to have it here, and wiggle it around for a second, and let it click in. I'm just going to pull the cables back, both the red one, the black one, and the white one, because just to get them out of the way and make it thing. Now we're going to install the water cooler. First, we're going to unscrew this little side panel here. There. And take it and flip it over so this side's up. And line up some these corner holes. Then take the screws, straight through there, line up the holes, and you're going to want to line up the holes with the last part too. There. Now I'm going to grab my little screwdriver. Screw that in. One more part. Okay, once you have all your screws done, then we're going to reinstall it back into the case. There. Okay, now to reinstall the water cooler, we're going to pick it up, put it here, and then put it at an angle, and put it there, and keep it there, but don't put it fully in because we want to take the wires and stick them into the hole. We're going to stick them back behind the box. We're going to stick all the wires behind the box. So, the other one. Now I have to fully stick it back in. And if you go behind it, you can see it click in. Okay, now we're going to install the rest of the water cooler. Right now, I'm going to pick up the heatsink, and right now this thing comes with the bottom of a Intel, but we are going to open that up and change that away. Pop that open, and then this comes with thermal paste on it, so pull it left. There. And then take it, and then take this one, and move it right. Oopsie, this side out, this side out, this side out. So then flip it sideways and it gets locked. You flip it right, and then it gets locked in. Okay, now, go over to your toasts. You remember your standoffs from a while ago? Those are going back to being useful when we put this on here. Okay, then grab this little screw here, put it on the end of the standoff, and spin it. You can probably just do it with your fingers, actually. You really don't actually need them. screwdriver. So I'm just gonna do it with my finger. 1, 2, 3. Okay, second last one. And last one. There! Good. Now the water cooler is fully installed. Okay, we had to spin the heatsink. We had to spin the heatsink because the RAM got in the way of trying to plug in the things, what we're going to do now. So, what the first step is going to be is to grab this one and bring it along to the back and stick it in here. Slide that over. And then just have to stick that in the top. By the way, if you were wondering, the water cooler I'm using is a Kraken X63 by NZXT, and the video card I'm using is a Gigabyte Radeon 5700 XT, which we will now be installing. Okay, so for the first step, we want to unscrew this side. There's a little panel right here. I'm going to unscrew this. Take this off. Then we can unscrew these two. Not the very top one, but the two underneath that. Take it off. And then we don't want to make this. Good. And then slide it back into there and push it in. A nice clicking sound. You're going to want to take the screws you just took out and put them back into the holes. Okay, now we need to connect the power supply to the video card. So we've had some connector cables up, and now we just need to plug them in. Okay, there, got it. This is coming together. It looks really good. Now we just have to do the cables in the back. Oops. Uh-oh. 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 As we connect and clean up these cables, please enjoy this short video of a squirrel stealing from a bird feeder. Through the magic of cable management, this is how it ends up now. Let's put the back on and front on and launch it and see how it goes. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, hold on. Stop. Take your finger off.
Oh my god, I see.
Okay.
I might have to do some like first time boot up thing. Okay, booted up fine. Now I get to take this off. Then we're gonna boot up some Windows and we're going to have fun with it. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching and bye. Not gonna say I'm not satisfied. Oh, that felt so nice.